Have you ever got in the motorhome, settled down and got have a nice cup of tea, turned on the kettle, and all of a sudden, boom, total darkness? You've probably tripped the hookup switch. It's a common mishap, and in today's video, I'm going to explain exactly how much power you can safely use on a campsite, how to work it out, and how to avoid those embarrassing power cuts. Whether you're on a 5 amp, 10 amp or 16 supply, let's make sure you've got enough juice without flipping the trip switch. So a campsite electric hookup, or you may just hear it referred to as an EHU, supplies you with a limited amount of current. Now the most common ones are 5 amps. These are common abroad and on CL sites. They give you up to about 1,150 watts. Then you get 10 amps, that's about 2,300 watts. And 16 amps, that's fairly standard in the UK now, which gives you up to 3,680 watts. Now you might think, why am I referring to watts all the time? That's because most appliances will give you a wattage rated on them. We'll talk about that in a minute. So to work out your limit, you use this formula. Amps equals watts divided by volts. Now in the UK and Europe, the voltage is normally 230 volts. So if you're on a 10 amp hookup, 10 times 230, so 10 amps times 230 volts gives you 2,300 watts. Now most appliances have got a label showing you how much power they use. It's usually on the back or underneath or on the side or near the plug. So you're looking for a sign that says something like 230 volts, 1,000 watts. That means the appliance just uses 1,000 watts. So now, as I said, we can use that formula we mentioned before. Amps equals watts divided by volts. So in the UK, with 230 volts, a 1,000 watt appliance is 1,000 divided by 230, which equals 4.35 amps. It all sounds very complicated, but it's not really. And I'll give you a chart later on you can refer to. So if you're close to the hookup limit, say if you're on a 5 amp site and you're going to put your 1,000 watt appliance on, clearly you're very close already. So you have to be very conscious of what you plug in next. So here's what some common appliances draw. An electric kettle, a regular one you might get from the house, will draw between 2,000 and 3,000 watts. That's between 8.7 amps and 13 amps. A hairdryer, that will draw between 1,500 and 2,000 watts, which is 6.5 amps to 8.7 amps. A microwave, between 800 and 1,200 watts, which is between 3.5 amps and 5.2 amps. Now the battery charger itself on your motorhome, that also draws current, so you also have to allow for that. That can draw between 150 and 400 watts, which is between, 0.6 of an amp and 1.7 amps. A 12 volt TV, now you think 12 volts, how does that affect the mains? I'll explain that to you in a short while, but a 12 volt TV can draw between 0.13 and 0.35 amps. A laptop charger, 60 watts to 100 watts, that's 0.26 amps to 0.43 amps. And a fridge on mains, between 100 watts and 250 watts, which is 0.43 amps to 1.1 amp. Now you can see how quickly it all adds up. A kettle alone could max out a 10 amp supply. So what I'll do, I'll include a link to a wattage cheat sheet for motorhomers and a list of common appliances and how many amps they use, so you can just look down the chart and add them up and have a rough idea whether you're going to be within the limit of the site you're on. And here's something a lot of people don't realize. Even when you're running a 12 volt appliance, it could be a TV, fan or the lighting, the charger often kicks in to keep the leisure battery topped up. That means you're still drawing mains power, albeit indirectly. Now the effect might be small, might be 1 or 2 amps, but on a 5 amp hookup, it could tip the balance. So avoid these classic blunders. Don't run the kettle and the heating at the same time. Avoid running the heating at full blast on a 5 amp hookup. Always check the amperage before plugging in. Make sure you know what that point will actually deliver. That'll normally be advertised in the brochure, or they'll tell you when you book in. Use a low wattage travel kettle. These are normally about 700 watts, so that's 3 amps. If possible, switch your fridge to gas, especially on low amp sites. Cook on gas if you're tight on amps. Fit LED lights and ditch any of the old filament bulbs you may still have. most modern motorhomes and caravans don't have filament lights anymore. And if you're really not sure, you can get a cheap wattage measuring device on AliExpress, eBay, Amazon, probably about 30 quid. So if you really want to know how much an appliance draws and you haven't got any documentation on it, you can use one of those to find out. And I'm sure you can do a bit of research on the internet and discover anyhow. So a few gadgets we've got to avoid overloading the hookup are: we have a 12 volt low current television. We use USB fans and LED lights, which means we can also use them off of battery packs as well. We've got a little 500 watt heater, which we can use as backup at times. And of course, we use a good old fashioned whistling kettle, which draws at 0 amps. Now, a lot of motorhomes now are moving over to induction hobs. Now, a lot of these have low power settings, say 500 watts, which is like 2.2 amps. So that's something else you may want to investigate. So next time you're hooked up to an EHU, be it 5, 10 or 16 amps, you'll know exactly what's safe to use. It's not about roughing it, it's just about being savvy with your power. So have you got a clever idea, a clever low wattage gadget you use, or a tip for reducing power? Then drop it in the comments and we'll share it with the others. So if you found this video useful, helpful, why not like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you for watching. We really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like, leave us a comment to let us know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel and means a lot to us. See you in the next one.